Some days I feel like I want to hire an army of people to help me because I'm exhausted. And other days I feel like I've got it. Hi, friend. LJ here. If you are a solopreneur or freelancer, business person who have identified that you've taken your business as far as it can go on your own, this video is for you. Here in this video, I'm going to talk about growing your dream team, leveraging your existing contacts or your resourced network. I love growing my business this way. And you will too. Stick around until the end. I'm going to give you lots of tips and tricks. Hi, welcome. I'm LJ. I'm a 30-year music and entertainment industry vet. And here on this channel, I share tips and tricks, free workshops, free worksheets that are downloadable, mindfulness sessions, lots of very juicy information on business transformation and how you can build and grow a sustainably successful business in music and entertainment. Thank you for watching. And if you love what you see here, please like and subscribe. I appreciate your support so much. And now let's get into this video. So if you are looking to grow, you have identified one of two areas, maybe both areas that need your attention in your business. Number one, you have realized in learning the ropes of your business that there are areas that you just cannot develop any further. You don't have the skill sets to go any further because you've taken it as far as you can go. Perhaps you're just not strong in these areas. Every business owner and entrepreneur I have ever met recognizes where they are weaker and fills in the gaps with team members to complement them and strengthen the business. It is a great way to grow the business and it can be really fun. It's not a failure on your part. So we talk a lot about mindful work here on Compassion Rocks, and I just want to lean in a little bit and remind you, if you've identified an area that you can only take so far, it is not a failure on your part. It is a success. You have learned something about your skill sets and you've identified an area where maybe you just can't take it any further. You're not that strong in that area. Or the other area is, or possibility is, you hate it. And that's okay too. You've taken it as far as you can go because you just don't like doing it. And there are people out there that probably do a great job doing this task or area of business much better than you, and they probably love it. So finding those people is a great way to, again, fill in the gaps and strengthen your business in order to make it grow. Okay, so you've identified one or two of those two areas, or possibly both, and now you're ready to hire someone to help you. In order to grow your business, leveraging your existing resourced network, that's your existing contacts, it's best to start with taking an inventory of your network. And what the hell does that mean? That means looking at all your contacts and understanding their areas of specialty. This could be understanding the part of the industry that they're in, or maybe they have very specific trade skills that they specialize in. Perhaps they're generalists. Perhaps they are great people, and they could be great at sales and building your partnerships. Perhaps they're strategists and they're really good with big picture stuff. Perhaps they're the get it things done people, and those are your operations people who can do the day-to-day. A lot of that might be administrative work, right? The minutia, the details, those people, right? So looking at your resourced network and understanding how to inventory them by putting them into categories, or I like to call them buckets, okay? And that way, when it comes time to reach out in a specific area where you have identified a specific need, you're reaching out to the right group of people. It would be a bad move to reach out to someone who might be great at sales, but ask them to do an operational task. If that doesn't involve getting out and meeting people and exchanging energy out there in the sales world. A lot of natural born salespeople are very extroverted people, and they love the exchange of energy with other people. Operations people can be extroverted or ambiverts. They can be both, but typically they tend to be more introverted. They love working from their desk in a quiet space where they can organize things and live in the details. This is really, really important in identifying and executing who you want to reach out to for what. Because once you make contact, if they feel heard and they feel like you get them, at least you understand their strengths, there's an opportunity for a greater conversation there. But if there's a misalignment on the initial reach out, chances are they're going to be like, I don't really know why we're having this conversation. It's very confusing. Great to see you again, right? There you're in your existing contacts. But great to see you again, but not really sure why we're having this conversation. That's not at all what I do. Right? So you're doing some due diligence by taking inventory of your resourced network. Once you conclude your buckets list, then you can proceed in identifying your areas of need. Your areas of need, right? So perhaps you need someone like an assistant to help you with the day-to-day administrative work. This would be somebody, again, who might be very operational. This could be somebody who comes from operations. Maybe they are an expert in operations. It depends on the level of need. So the next step is identifying both the area of need and the level of need. Okay, so let's take those one at a time. So number one, identifying the area of need for your business. Where are there areas that you could really use some help that are going to be the most positively impactful areas for your business on all the other areas, right? So I like to think of it as, if I could only hire one person to do a thing, how would that positively impact my entire business, right? All the other areas of my business more than if I were to hire another person to do a different thing. Okay, so it helps me prioritize. Some days I feel like I want to hire an army of people to help me because I'm exhausted. And other days I feel like I've got it, right? But if there is a regular area of need that is really in need of some attention in order to move your business forward, okay, then flag that area. That is where your attention should go first. Beyond that, now, the next part of it is to identify the level of need. What exactly do you need inside this area? Do you need a part-timer who's giving you, 5 or 10 hours a week? Do you need somebody more full-time? What are the boundaries, or as you start to build it out, the job description, if you will, of what you are looking for in order to fill this need? Okay, so it may not even necessarily be a role at your company. It doesn't have to be that formal yet. You can develop that down the line once this person, or maybe another person in the future, can grow into a role and they can make it their own. But in the beginning, you're filling a need for your business. So you're thinking about this from the inside out. How many hours do you spend working in this area of the business? And what do you need additionally that you aren't able to do, right? So will this person be supplementing your work, or will you be handing over all of the work? These are things to consider before you reach out to this person or group of people that focus on the area of need. So before we move on to the next step, I want to share how I have been able to leverage my resource network to build my dream team, who I am grateful for every freaking day. These people are amazing. There's been a lot of intention that's gone into building this team. There have been different variations of this team over the years. Right now, we have landed in a configuration that feels really strong, very complementary, very authentic, represents all my core values. Like truly, it's the dream team. At the risk of sounding a little woo, I do very much lean into my intuition when I'm talking to my resourced network about filling a need in my business in order to grow it. When I reach out, it's because there is a feeling in my stomach or in my gut or a knowing in my heart. It's very hard to explain. It's a very subtle energy shift that I feel when I think of that person working together with me. The people that I'm currently working with now in my business are all experts in their fields. So I don't have any junior people in the team. And I will say, full disclosure, that none of the people that work with me currently work full time. We actually all have full-time day jobs. I call them jobs. Those are the jobs that we have to keep the lights on and put food on the table and take care of ourselves foundationally so that we can launch passion projects like this. The folks that are working here with me are working here. They're doing it because they're passionate about building what we want to build together. And that is a very exciting place to work. You can feel it on our team calls. You can feel that this is the right configuration of people. I am so grateful for this, but I do think that listening to my gut, some people call it intuition or a subtle knowing, has been very instrumental in building this team. In one case, someone reached out to me on LinkedIn because I was very clear about what I was looking for and what I'm doing in the industry, and they found me and pitched me. This is an interesting thing to think about when you are getting ready to what I call tap people or tap your network to see if they want to engage in a conversation with you about filling a need in your business. So back to tapping. This is the next part. When you start to tap your network, again, you've identified the buckets or you've inventoried your resource networks. You know who you're going to be reaching out to for what, and you start to set up calls. I like to stack. Stacking is an operational term, and it means that you are going to stack meetings one on top of each other for a certain period of time. For me, I like to enter a time block into my calendar where I am only focused on taking calls with my resourced network contacts that I've identified in areas of need for my business back to back to back. And I do this not just for time management's sake, yes, and I also do this for energy because I'm an energy person and I like to get a sense of people back to back to back and how they sort of compare to one another when they mix with me and my energy. Is there chemistry there? It's a little bit like speed dating, except it's not romantic in nature. So it's an interesting tactic because if you let too much time go by between one conversation and the next, it's hard to get a sense of the differences and similarities of the energy that people are bringing into the calls. Also, they may come with ideas, and it's important to obviously take notes, but get a sense of who is interested in contributing to the call and not just listening. That is interesting to notice and can be useful when it comes time to make a decision about hiring someone for your business that fills a need in your business. Tapping people involves outreach. So it could be in your DMs, it could be a phone call, it could be a text, it could be an email. It depends on the relationship that you have with them. And I would say if you always have a conversation with somebody in DMs, then stay in DMs. Don't go weird and do it somewhere else. Meet people where they're at and where they've been comfortable communicating with you. Be very specific, but not too detailed, right? Keep it very high level. So, hey, I am interested in growing my business in this area, and I thought of you. Would you be willing to have a conversation with me about it? or about what I'm working on to see if there's a possibility of a collaboration. Please put this in your words. You're welcome to steal that, but put it in your words so it feels like you. And again, they understand what you want, right? You're reaching out to them because they know a specific thing about the business, the area of need that you need met, and you'd like to know if they'd be open to engaging in a conversation, okay? Not, are you available for hire? That is not what you were saying in the message. You are not ready yet. There is still more information to discover in the conversation that you have once you schedule the call. The first part is reaching out or tapping people, right? Like you're tapping them on the shoulder. Once they respond, if they respond favorably, hey, yeah, sure, let's catch up. Then you follow up immediately. Like when I say immediately, like do it within 24 hours, okay? Show that you're taking initiative and that this is important to you and you want to move this forward. So don't wait because people get busy again. Reach out with the intention of a shorter timeline to connect and to have that conversation. Keep the energy and the momentum moving. That's really important in business. You don't want stagnancy. That's different than stillness. So making a differentiate, like intentional stillness, very different. I'm talking about letting things go stale. Don't want that. So you're tapping people and then they get back to you favorably. And then you set up the call within 24 hours. Maybe the call is not for another week or two, but your communication is you're following up and you're following through to get that call scheduled within 24 hours of them responding back to you. Now, if they get back to you and the answer is unfavorable, meaning not rude or that they're being a jerk or anything, but just, hey, actually, no, I'm really slammed right now and I'm not really available to have a conversation like this yet. Let's put a pin in it and revisit in 6 months or a year. Make a note on your inventory list because you may want to circle back to this person. So keep a running list and details of how people are replying to you favorably, unfavorably, no answer, no reply. Make sure that you're just tracking this information. It's going to help you down the line. Okay, so for the folks that get back to you favorably and you've booked the call, now you're going to prepare for that initial call. And this call, I like to call it formal, informal. Okay, so formal, informal. You are on a mission to fill a need for your business. So for that reason, you are coming with an agenda for the call, but the energy of the call is sort of informal. It's a bit casual. Why? Because you've already met this person. This person is an existing contact. They are in your resourced network. So because you have an established connection and rapport, because at some point in your past you've met either at an event or through a mutual acquaintance, right? You are connected already. The trust and the rapport has already been somewhat established or very established. So the energy of the call can be more relaxed. And so the beginning of that call is human first, always human first. And that is you're asking questions about how they are and what they've been up to and what they are most excited for. However, you've set the agenda in the call to discuss 2, maybe 3 bullet like talking points that align with the need of the area of your business that you're trying to fill. Okay, so they come into the call seeing the agenda in your calendar invite, yes, but the initiation, right? So when you first get on the call, whether it's a video call or an audio call, whatever, when you first get on the call, you're just checking in with them. It is not about work yet. You're going to be human first. This is really important if you care about deepening the relationship with the person in front of you. This is not yet a conversation that is transactional. It is, you are purely curious to see how they are and what they've been up to and what they've been most excited for or about. Once that conversation ensues and you've gone back and forth a little bit and you feel like there's a natural break in the conversation, so you're really paying attention to the energy in the room and you notice that there's a natural lull in the conversation, you can say something like, "This is so awesome to catch up with you. I am wondering if now would be a good time to segue into the reason why I reached out in the first place. Would you be open to moving into that part of the conversation?" And more than likely, because they understood the agenda and why you reached out to them in the first place, they will say yes. So you will get to the point probably between 5 and 15 minutes into the call. The overall call should be between 30 and 40 minutes. Don't make it any longer than that. This is really just to gauge interest and let them know at this point, how you're thinking about this area of business need, right? So, for example, I am not a video editor. As a matter of fact, I'm a terrible video editor. I have edited many videos for our YouTube channel on my own, and it's just not something that I have a knack for. There are people out there that do a much, much better job than I do. And currently, we love our video editor, shout out Clay, and he does an amazing job here for us. I might tell a story to my resourced network about how I have tried a thing in my business and I really have taken it as far as I could possibly go. And at this point, I need help. I've recognized that I need help. And so I reached out to this person, the person you're talking to see how I might grow this area, knowing that I've hit a wall, and have a conversation about it, right? Again, you're not hiring this person. You are trying to understand how to grow this area of need in your business. And they may, in return, take a consultative approach with you. They might ask you questions. They might offer ideas. They might just want to listen. And you are just talking. This is all something to pay attention to in very small businesses. If you're doing all the talking and they're doing all the listening, chances are they're going to wait for you to tell them what to do. And that doesn't mean that's always true, by the way. It could just mean that they're an active listener and they're really paying attention. But if you invite them into the conversation, see how they might respond. And what you're doing is you're being aware of the content exchange as well as the energy dynamic. Most people do not pay attention to this, and it's really important because how many times have you worked with people where your energy just does not mix? It totally clashes, and it's really not fun to work with them. So this is something to pay attention to in the first conversation about filling a need for the business, how you grow it, etc. Once this conversation starts to take shape, you can actually ask them if they would be willing to have a follow-up conversation if it feels good for both of you, right? So you've identified that there's a content exchange here and that the energy feels good in the room. They're not just saying yes, 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 and agreeing with you. They're able to have a more natural, genuine, authentic exchange that feels a little relaxed because, again, remember, you've met before. It's not about getting a job or hiring yet. So that's the next step. Once you identify that this feels right, then invite them to have a follow-up conversation. In that follow-up conversation, and let's say it's a week from the time that you're talking or 2 weeks time from the time that you're talking. Again, don't wait too long because people get busy and other opportunities come up and you may lose this opportunity with this person. So try to keep the cadence rather short, but not too short. You want to be able to sleep on it. You want them to be able to sleep on it. Give it a week. Give it a couple weeks. And in that next conversation, that's when you start to discuss the details. How many hours this position might require? Do you have a budget to pay this person? What might that look like? Does the person that you're speaking to have a fee or some sort of expectations around payment? How do they like to be paid? How do they like to work? Do they like to work from home? Do they want to be in the same room as you? These are all things that will need to get fleshed out in that follow-up call down the line. But you can see that this is very methodical. There's a lot of steps to this, and you don't want to rush it. There is a saying, I think it's in startup culture that is hire slow, fire fast. And while I don't necessarily agree all the time with the fire fast part, I definitely agree with the hire slow. And because it really gives you time to get a sense of people and also check in with yourself to see how you feel. It's so important. When you hire the wrong people, it can be such a headache. And I don't want that for you. So I hope this is helpful, and don't leave yet, because I actually created a free downloadable clarity worksheet in the description box, which is going to help you identify your top 10 ways to contact in your resource network. Like, this is going to give you so much clarity in moving this forward, whether you're hiring right now or not, or just moving your business forward as a solopreneur. This worksheet is for anyone who is looking to start or grow their business. It's been very helpful for me, and I shared it for free here in the description box. So make sure to click on it and grab that. So I hope that these ideas are starting to take shape for you. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me here in the comments. I'd love to hear from you always. And until next time, compassion rocks. You got this, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.